Hey, so I was doing some Googling, and I came across this. Looked really nice. I wanted to see if I could make it in 3D, so I challenged myself to do that, but I also wanted to see if I could sculpt it at the angle that it is. Normally when I sculpt them pretty head on, and then I pose them later on, and I wanted to sculpt it in the pose it's currently in.
That's art.
I've never really done anything like that for like a human character before, and I wanted to give it a shot. And this is what I ended up with. I feel like if I had done probably like 7 more tries, I probably could have got this pretty spot on. But you know what? This is my first try. I was happy with how it turned out, actually. And I feel like it's both an indicator of how far I have come as an artist and how much further I can go to improve upon what little skills I do already have. But I also recorded my process, and I'm going to share it with you all right now. So what you're going to do, start out with that default cube, delete it, add a cube. You have to, it's the law. I actually am going to subdivide the cube. I'm just going to apply it. I'm going to go into edit mode and I'm going to make it a little bit more spherical. You know, you just need to be more spherical. Spherical! Jump to sculpt mode and just start sculpting. Keep it basic as you can. Pretty low poly early on for a while until you kind of have to start adding more in there. That's something I'm actually working on myself as we add in another sphere here to model the neck. That's something I'm kind of working on because I find myself, and I do it so many times, I do so many times as I'm modeling stuff, and I just have to keep messing with it. I'm like, it's like super high poly or something, and I'm still like, you know, like, oh, the eye doesn't look right, and I'm completely changing the eye shape. It just saved myself so much trouble, so much time if I can just nail it in the beginning. That's something that I'm working on, and I feel like it's also something that a lot of us are working on. We're always working on something. And here, what I'm working on is this is actually a trick. This is a trick video because I've actually surprised you, and I made Voldemort. So you can see I made the Dark Lord himself. I actually, when I saw that I was making Voldemort, I was like, that's Voldemort. I thought about just stopping and just restarting the whole process over, the whole video. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna persevere, and I'm going to actually just give this a shot and see what happens and see if I can turn this into looking good. And I mean, you've seen the end result, so you'd be the judge there. Obviously, add in the eyes, add in the eyelids, start carving in right into where that mouth is going to be. Just kind of getting the basic, keeping it really low poly like I mentioned, and just kind of getting like the basic outline. Looks horrifying, don't worry, we fixed that. Add in the color to the skin, just to make it look a little bit, you know, a bit better for the YouTube video and everything. But just start kind of plumping up the eyes a little bit, just kind of position those around. Here I am, I can't stop, I'm just always tinkering with it. Like at this stage it's okay, but when I start adding in a bit more detail, like here I'm adding in, I mask out where the mouth, because her mouth is open, so I mask that out, dig that in, just dig it right in, and then kind of plump up those lips a little bit, because it kind of makes them look a little funky. Let's just start adding in more detail into the, right in the eyebrow ridge, right into the brows there, because it just looked weird to me. It just looked kind of weird. Kind of start, you know, shaping up a bit of her nose, a bit more of the eyes. Like I said, I'm always tinkering with it, just always, which is a good trait to have. I just need to kind of get most of that out of the way early on. Here I'm just kind of shaping a bit of her body. I actually shaped this as if it wasn't the pose because I tried to position it and do the sculpt of the body. It just looked weird. So like, let me get like a basic outline going and then I'll do that later on. I'll like add in, you know, the more details after I kind of pose it, but let me get a basic look for it for right now. Here I'm actually adding in the eyebrows and the eyelashes. I've used this method pretty much every video I think I've ever made, and I will always use this method, at least to start off with. These are actually just placeholders. I wanted to see what I was working with, because this model could have looked exactly like the one in the drawing that I found, or the digital art that I had found, but it just wouldn't look right because she didn't have eyebrows, she didn't have eyelashes. Here I'm just sculpting very basic hair. I'm not very good at sculpting hair, so it ends up looking like tree branches. This isn't to stay, this is just a placeholder because I'm trying to visualize kind of what what am I working with here, how's it looking. We're gonna model a basic tooth. This gets changed later on, but this is just kind of, you know, give her some buck teeth for a little bit here. Just kind of see what I'm working with here, how exactly it's all coming along. We're going to get rid of that hunchback. Unfortunately, she is not the Hunchback of Notre Dame, even though she was really trying her best there, but not quite enough. So we're adding in some definition into the neck, adding the collarbones. I'm actually digging in and making this way more pronounced than it needs to be, because you can do that. It's not really a big deal, especially when you're pretty low res like this, because you can just always go in and just smooth it. After I used a retopology add-on that I have just to make my life so much easier, and I copied some of the head and some of the eyes, because what I wanted to do to add the hair is use geometry nodes. So using the geometry nodes, I'm basically just placing the hair down where I want it to go. And normally you can mirror this, but I started to realize my mistake of I messed up somewhere and it was not mirroring properly, so I ended up having to fix that later. But you just add in the hairs where you want them to, and then just comb them. Like right here, to add the actual hair, I do this in layers. So you just add in a lot of hair, just comb it in. Since she's got a bun, her hair's all going to the back of her head. For this particular one, just comb it to the back of the head here. I just kind of do this in layers, just slowly over time, adding in more and more strands of hair. Just kind of really make it fill out, look thick. Her hair looks very thick in the drawing, so that's what I did. I added I think there's 2 more layers here. There's this layer where this is kind of me adding in those strands of hair that are hanging off of her face. And then I do go back in and I add in even another layer to kind of get those really loose, like, strands that are kind of just everywhere there. And then after that, we go into texture painting. We're going to add in some reds to the nose, some reds to the cheeks, right on the chin. You're going to want to add some to the chest, the shoulders, the neck, just kind of areas where blood can really be seen. You know, where you expect to kind of see the red kind of popping on somebody. Darken the eyes a little bit, and then of course add in some red to the lips there, and the inside of the mouth, of course. And then here I'm using some of the little nodes, some shader editor, and adding in, just kind of making the skin look more alive. I also did this for the eyes. The idea for the eyes came from a course from Danny Mac 3D, so I don't want to give away fully what exactly you do for the eyes, but it works really well. I really enjoy it. And then we add in a little bit of gloss for the lips there, making them, shine just a little bit. And finally doing some more touch-ups on the hair once I was happy with how the texture paint was coming along. And then right here, I've used these methods before to kind of model the clothes, just basic modeling techniques to model the clothes. I actually do a cloth modifier and set up a collision on the body and just kind of do a little animation here to kind of get the wrinkles of the clothes, some final touch-ups there, and yeah, there we go, all done. That's about the process. It took quite a bit to get there. I'm really happy with how it turned out though, and yeah, when I did the animation with the clothes and to get those wrinkles in, because I didn't feel like sculpting them in, to be honest, that's kind of why I did that. They looked nice. It looked a little weird. If you noticed that, it's because of the solidify modifier I had. I fixed it later on, so I was like, why does this look so weird? It was because of that. But yeah, this is what I was trying to emulate. This is what I made. Maybe down the line I'll try and make it again and see if I can make it even better. But overall, I'm happy with how this turned out. I feel like it's been showing how well I have been progressing as an artist, and just showing that it's possible. I took Voldemort and made this. Maybe this is what Voldemort looked like before. If you play this in reverse, it's just me sculpting Voldemort, and there's a video idea, so. But alright guys, I'm going to end this one off here, so I just want to thank you all for watching. So have a good day, everybody. I'm DustyMill. Bye, everybody.